When watching the program, What Are You Eating Season 3 Episode 1, one thing that stood out as strange was that Philip Boucher-Hayes never discussed or quantified the amount of weight or fat that he lost, or any changes in BMI, despite the fact that he got weighed on a body fat analyzer scales made by Tanita, and he had the data available. The only thing he focused on was the now discredited loss in bone density and loss in muscle mass, which according to the screenshot his bone mass measured 3.4 kg and it changed to 3.3 kg. This 0.1 kg loss has been attributed by the manufacturer of the analyzer to a difference in the level of hydration rather than an actual real loss. Here is what an expert on the scales has said in an email to me. Reviewing this data, it is likely that the measured values for bone mass and muscle mass are a result of higher water weight loss. Some background: our products do not measure fat, water, muscle, etc. directly. The only two values measured directly are weight and impedance. All other measurements are calculated using equations based on these and other values such as height, gender, activity level etc. Impedance is measured by sending a low, safe electrical signal through the body, and can be described as a measurement of the strength and speed of that signal. Because muscle tissue has a high water and electrolyte content, compared to fat, the electrical signal passes through with ease. However, when the signal encounters fat mass, it must work harder to pass through because fat contains only a small percentage of water. When the scale detects less water, the equations will automatically calculate lower muscle and bone mass values, bone mass in linked to muscle mass. As you may know, it is not uncommon for people to lose more water weight during the initial stages of weight loss as the body adjusts to the reduced caloric intake. The MC780U provides a detailed breakdown on body water, with total water as well as intracellular and extracellular values. You should review this data, with an eye towards the differences in percent of total weight for each of these values over time to monitor his water loss in relationship to his total weight. End of quote. So as you can see, this email pretty much destroys the main conclusions of the show, and the second email from Tanita says it is unlikely Philip's claim made on the Radar C show that his muscle disposition went lopsided is correct. This change of 0.1 kg has been discredited as not reliable data, because the machine only measure at best to 2% accuracy when all key variables are met, which according to the dietitian in an email to me they were not met. This undermines the whole conclusion of the show, which was described by RTE as a shocking loss of bone density and was put down to Philip not taking his supplements and not following the diet correctly, while in reality, we have no reliable evidence that he did, in fact, lose bone or muscle mass. What we do know for certain is that the measured bone loss was 0.1 kg, and this is the smallest amount the scales can resolve. We know that the readings were not taken at the same time of day which they need to be. If you want accurate readings, we know from reading the user manual that the accuracy at best is 2%. Under ideal conditions, we know that the manufacturer of the scales who was provided with the data from the show has said that results were likely to be the results of a difference in hydration. We know that according to Aveen Bannon, the dietitian, that all key input variables were not met. We know that this type of bone density loss on a vegan diet in such a short period has not been reported in any study. So it is fair to say that this shocking loss of bone and muscle mass did not happen. What this video is going to focus on is his actual total weight loss and his actual fat loss as measured by the Tanita body analyzer. It is also going to focus on some tweets from viewers and the replies from Philip. This information was not readily available to the public unless you had recorded their show and froze the screen at the exact time the detailed reports flashed on the screen for less than 3 seconds. These reports reveal several nuggets of information that were not discussed on the show. We are able to calculate some missing figures and it shows some other figures. Philip's BMI went from 26.7 kg to 25.2 kg. His fat loss went from 18.2 kg to 15.2 kg. His bone mass went from 3.4 kg to 3.3 kg. His height is 1.8 meters. His muscle mass went from 65 kg to 63.1 kg, a loss of 1.9 kg. This was described as you lost a good 2 kg of muscle mass. Philip also described his muscle disposition as having gone lopsided. This muscle disposition has also been questioned by the manufacturer of the scales, so it was most likely an anomaly rather than his muscles wasting on one side more than the other due to a vegan diet. Philip's body fat went from 21% to 18.6%. His weight changed from 86.6 kg to 81.6 kg, a loss of 5 kg or just over 11 pounds weight lost. Other discrepancies noted were the time and date of the readings. You are supposed to take the readings at the same time of day, ideally in the early evening for accurate results. The diet was described as lasting 28 days. Yet the report shows the first reading taken in the morning of the 31st of October and the final reading taken in the afternoon of the 5th of December, a full week extra. I can't imagine that Philip did an extra week on the diet. Strangely, the only figures mentioned on the program were the now discredited loss of bone mass and muscle mass. These figures were described as shocking by RTE. There was no mention of his total weight loss of 5 kg or just over 11 pounds, no mention of his change in BMI from 26.7 to 25.2. No mention in the drop in body fat from 21% to 18.6%. These are all figures that for most people would have portrayed the plant-based vegan diet in a positive light. However, the editors chose not to mention, highlight or discuss these positive results. This did not go unnoticed by the general public, who on social media questioned us why these figures were not mentioned on the program. One viewer called Elaine tweeted "What are you eating if he's lost weight? I'm becoming vegan in the morning lose weight." As Philip never discussed his weight loss, Elaine then tweeted the show. "What are you eating? He never said what weight he actually lost apart from muscle at Boucher-Hayes put me out of my misery." To which Philip replied, "I lost next to no visceral fat at all. A couple of pounds." To which Elaine replied, "Really? I'm actually surprised at that. Very interesting. I'll stick with my steaks so. Thanks for reply." Another viewer Trina replied to Elaine, "But he lost 2 kilograms of muscle mass and 2% bone density in a month, which would have taken 10 years of inactivity, they said, also because he didn't take the proper supplements. It's health damaging without proper nutritional advice and as a fad diet," which was their point. So here we have a viewer looking for Philip's weight loss, which should have been discussed on the show, and then we have Philip's reply, which was a surprise to Elaine. She then decided to continue eating meat on the basis of his reply. Then we have Trina, who said that the diet was health damaging on the basis of what was said on the show, so I guess she won't be giving up meat either. I have no explanation for why Philip would say that he lost almost no visceral fat at all, when the information on the screen, which most people did not see, says he lost over 11 pounds of weight and over 6 pounds of this weight was calculated as being from fat. If this information was discussed on the show, there would be no confusion. This difference in weight loss needs to be addressed, and if Philip made a mistake, then he needs to rectify it. And if the shocking result of a loss of 2 kg of muscle mass and 3% bone density loss was cross-checked for accuracy, it might never have been broadcast. I also have no explanation as to why no blood results were discussed on the show, as Philip said he got a raft of tests done so much so that he felt like a pincushion. And I have no explanation as to why Philip described tests he got done on a Tanita body fat analyzer as various bone scans. This machine can't do bone scans. These bone scans are only available in hospitals. It is my belief that a lot of people were misled by this program. Some vegans reported that they have been contacted by their parents and family and friends who were very upset after watching the program and were pleading with them to give up the dangerous vegan diet. I believe this new information in this video can leave nobody in any doubt that the show What Are You Eating and the 2 other broadcasts that were done on the same day mislead the public by broadcasting inaccurate material. To make matters worse, people who never seen the program are now exposed to the incorrect conclusions of the program. Just these 2 viewers alone have over 1,000 followers on Twitter, and just from these 2 people alone have now, through no fault of their own, exposed their followers to incorrect information broadcast by RTE, that could stop them from eliminating or reducing the amount of meat they consume, which could improve their health and perhaps extend their lives. Just as incorrect information on smoking cost lives, incorrect information on diets will also cost people their lives. If RTE fails to correct these inaccuracies, I intend to set up a GoFundMe campaign that will pay for independent doctors and dietitians to make a written report on what happened on the show. I will then submit it to the Broadcast Authority of Ireland, to back up my claims that this program and the Ray D'Arcy radio show are both seriously flawed and are in breach of the 2009 Broadcasting Act. This video is one of about 8 videos that I am in the process of putting online to highlight the problems with these 3 broadcasts. Subscribe to see all the videos.